Here's a Minnesota man has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for producing sexually explicit images of a minor and sending graphic threats detailing a murder plot against his child sexual abuse victim. In March of 2021, law enforcement in Pennsylvania began investigating Michael Kurkowski regarding the exchange of sexually explicit images of a minor. Now, he was charged in April of that year with multiple felonies. The investigation revealed that he traveled to Pennsylvania to find the minor. Investigators reviewed messages from him to the minor describing in detail how he would murder the minor's parents and then rape and kill the victim's sister. In February of 2022, Kurkowski purchased a bus ticket and left for Pennsylvania before police stopped him in Ohio and took him into custody.